4 UK companies form part of the 100 largest public Bitcoin treasury companies in the world. And we're going to be looking at the largest and newest of these in this video, because in 1 year, the smarter web company and B HODL have added well over 2,500 Bitcoin to their digital treasuries and are actively building. These two Bitcoin treasury firms' holdings alone are worth about £241.8 million, or over $322 million at the time of recording this video. So we're going to look at the smarter web company and B HODL's Bitcoin reserves and why they represent much more than just corporate buyers, at a time when regulatory caution, oversight and control has hindered mainstream crypto integration and adoption for years in the UK. So these companies signify a grassroots shift toward Bitcoin adoption in the UK at a time when new competition like crypto ETNs become available to retail investors. Just a quick reminder that nothing contained in this video is financial advice, and let's jump straight in. First, let's talk about the smarter web company, which launched in 2010 as a web development and digital marketing agency in Bristol. Since then, it's expanded its offerings to include custom software development and cloud-based solutions. Before 2024, Smarter Web had minimal exposure to Bitcoin. However, in 2023, Smarter Web did begin to accept Bitcoin payments for its services, and in 2024, under the leadership of CEO Andrew Webley, the company conducted pilot Bitcoin purchases, acquiring about 25 BTC in October, which was funded through retained earnings and a small equity raise. Their big move to becoming a large Bitcoin treasury company, however, took place in April 2025, when Smarter Web listed on the Aquis Stock Exchange with a market cap of around £10 million. They also launched their 10-year plan, a strategic initiative to integrate Bitcoin as a core treasury asset. In their roadmap, they plan to evolve from a web services firm into a tech-driven Bitcoin holding company with a modern digital asset strategy that uses Bitcoin as a strategic reserve for future expansion. Their intention to position themselves as the UK's leading Bitcoin treasury firm, emulating strategy in the USA, formerly MicroStrategy, sparked a massive market response. As a result, their market cap soared from a low of £4 million to over £1 billion within 2 months, driven by investor enthusiasm for their Bitcoin focus. So during their Bitcoin pivot, Smarter Web's shares rose from lows of £3 at the start of 2025 to all-time highs of £622.50 in June 2025, with their IPO apparently being the most successful in the UK, according to Smarter Web's CEO Andrew Webley. The rise in Smarter Web's valuation was partially fueled by equity offerings in 2025. For example, Smarter Web raised funds through several equity placements on the Aquis Stock Exchange in April 2025, starting with a £15 million placement fundraise to support its Bitcoin Treasury initiative. After that, they floated a £29.3 million accelerated book build in June 2025, followed by a rapid series of fund drives in July 2025, raising £21 million, and in August, £15 million. So after the fundraisers, Smarter Web bought 374 Bitcoin in June 2025 and 726 BTC in July, which were worth £29.5 million and £59.88 million respectively. Then, in August, they added 340 BTC, worth £30.93 million. On October the 6th, they added another 25 BTC, worth £2.3 million to their reserves, then acquired another 100 Bitcoin on October the 13th, followed finally by another 10 Bitcoin on the 21st of October. In total, Smarter Web has purchased over 2,600 BTC since its 10-year plan began. Combined with its earlier holdings, this brings the company's full treasury to 2,660 Bitcoin, currently worth over £229 million. However, in recent months, you can see that its share price has dropped to about £65 currently. The bottom line, though, is that Smarter Web is the UK's largest corporate Bitcoin holder, and ranks 31st largest at the time of recording this video, according to Bitcoin Treasuries. It also announced that it held over £1 million in cash with no debt in July 2025, with that looking promising if it's to withstand a potential future bear market. So given what we've just looked at, its Bitcoin holdings enhance its balance sheet, supporting growth and potential acquisitions as its price increases. Let's now talk about B HODL, which is a Bitcoin-focused public company dedicated to accumulating Bitcoin as a treasury asset while generating revenue through the Bitcoin transaction network. Incorporated only recently in June 2025, it's positioned itself as the first British company established specifically for Bitcoin accumulation and revenue generation from its treasury holdings. B HODL is headquartered on the Isle of Man and is led by an experienced UK-based team with over a decade in Bitcoin custody and operations. Key figures in its leadership team include CEO Freddie New, who's also the Chief Policy Officer at Bitcoin Policy UK, Chief Bitcoin Officer Danny Scott, which is a great title, who's a CEO also at Coin Corner, and CFO David Boylan, who's also the CFO at Coin Corner, as well as the Chief Technical Officer and ex-Chief Operating Officer at Coin Corner, making up its leadership. Its strategic backers include Blockstream CEO Adam Back, who holds a 25.5% stake. And given the team at B HODL is made up of some leaders at Coin Corner, it's no surprise to see that Coin Corner has a 14.28% stake in the company, with you being able to see here the 4 shareholders who currently have over 5% of B HODL's shares according to its website. B HODL went public on the Aquis Stock Exchange on September the 22nd, 2025, raising £15.3 million under its ticker HODL. Its shares debuted with a 34 to 38% surge, reaching £22.9, and was upsized and closed early due to strong demand, a reflection of investor enthusiasm for its Bitcoin focus. The company moved quickly, and just one day after its IPO, B HODL announced its first Bitcoin acquisition of 100 BTC for £8.39 million at an average price of £83,872 per Bitcoin. This purchase marked the company's entry into the corporate Bitcoin treasury race, and it's kept growing this treasury since then. As you can see here, with B HODL announcing on October the 13th that it acquired another 6 BTC at an average price of $114,619 or £85,833 per Bitcoin. And then it announced on October the 21st that it had purchased another 6 Bitcoin to bring its total Bitcoin holdings at the time of recording this video to 148 BTC, valued at over £12.7 million or $17 million. As a result, B HODL is currently the 95th largest public company that holds a Bitcoin treasury according to Bitcoin Treasuries. But what makes B HODL's strategy unique is that it's both a store of value and a tool that generates revenue through the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which is essentially Bitcoin's layer 2 scaling solution, enabling fast and low-cost transactions. So by operating Lightning nodes on the Lightning Network and using its own Bitcoin treasury to provide liquidity to these nodes, B HODL aims to generate revenue for the company, which has started, and we should therefore see revenue reports for this soon. And to put it simply in terms of how this works, B HODL uses its Bitcoin assets to establish a kind of toll booth on the Bitcoin transaction network, thereby providing liquidity. In return, they earn revenue from global BTC transactions, so B HODL's Bitcoin isn't just sitting idle, it's locked into Lightning Network channels, which are also payment highways between nodes on the network. As a result, through B HODL, users who want to send Bitcoin quickly and cheaply can connect without clogging the main Bitcoin blockchain. When they send Bitcoin payments via Lightning, B HODL earns a small fee, generating income alongside its treasury appreciation. So while B HODL's Bitcoin reserves aren't as large as smarter webs, it's certainly an innovative approach through its revenue-focused model. However, as a much newer Bitcoin treasury company without any operational history, it is obviously the beginning of the journey for B HODL, which carries with it a certain amount of risk. So why are these Bitcoin treasury companies important, especially in the UK? Well, big credit has to go to these companies that are gaining support and attracting investment as the government has distanced itself from the market. So despite the UK citing risks like volatility and financial stability in their case against the national Bitcoin Treasury, these corporate treasuries are building a bottom-up movement that places the UK as an active participant, not just a spectator, to the US-led Bitcoin strategic reserve trend. And although share prices have corrected significantly, this initial surge in demand by investors demonstrates Bitcoin's potential power to generate market excitement and rapidly boost a firm's valuation, similar to what's been seen in the US with MicroStrategy, now called Strategy. So as long as these companies can keep building and survive 5 or 10 years as a minimum, let's say, they could do very well if we think of what price BTC will be by then. Smarter Web Company and B HODL are not the only UK Bitcoin treasury companies, because there's also Satsuma Technology, which holds 1,149 Bitcoin, which is the second largest public holder of Bitcoin in the UK, behind just Smarter Web. There's also Vaultz Capital, which is the fourth largest UK public company to hold Bitcoin, with 135 BTC. Then there's Forza Bitcoin, a Coincilium Group subsidiary, actually based in Gibraltar, which has 182 Bitcoin in its reserves, and has just raised more money to grow this even further. Other publicly traded firms with smaller holdings of Bitcoin in the UK include the London Bitcoin Company, that has 85.97 BTC, and Phoenix Digital Assets, that has 99 Bitcoin. So as we can see, more corporate entities are holding Bitcoin, which won't only normalize institutional crypto holdings, but also introduce novel trading assets, directing more fiat currency to the digital asset market. But before we end this video, it is important to touch on the latest news coming out of the crypto news space in the UK that could affect Bitcoin treasury companies' performance, and that I'll be covering in a bit more detail in our next video. And that is that the FCA has now lifted its retail ban on crypto exchange traded notes, or ETNs. This means that retail investors will be able to purchase ETNs available within tax-advantaged vehicles such as ISAs and SIPs. Further benefits of ETNs include low management fees of about 0.2 to 0.5% and direct Bitcoin exposure without the operational risks associated with corporate investments. So the possible concern for these Bitcoin treasury companies is that ETNs could potentially divert capital away from them, providing significant competition. And to bring everything together, the 4 UK Bitcoin treasury companies in the top 100 largest public Bitcoin treasury companies in the world, Smarter Web Company, Satsuma, B HODL and Vaultz, currently hold 4,092 Bitcoin at the value of over £354 million, or $473 million at the time of recording this video. These firms are going against the UK government's crypto anti-innovation, risk-averse approach, taking action that the government won't. They're building Bitcoin reserves and addressing the new economic reality created by digital assets. Bitcoin's decentralized nature offers monetary sovereignty and is an excellent store of value over the long term. Also, Bitcoin reserves are a sign of innovation, which in the future could position the UK as a crypto hub and help companies deliver returns on their balance sheets that are higher than gains that they might get from traditional assets like real estate, bonds or equity. And if history is any guide, early conviction will pay off for Smarter Web and B HODL. But as always, I'd love to know what you think in the comments below. Before we end this video, it wouldn't be a coin knowledge video without coming back to the idea of an individual holding their own assets. So when we say not your keys, not your Bitcoin, we mean that buying shares in Bitcoin treasury companies or even Bitcoin ETNs for price exposure means that you don't own the Bitcoin. Third parties do, introducing counterparty risks like mismanagement or insolvency. However, self-custody using a hardware wallet like Trezor ensures true sovereignty, letting you hold Bitcoin directly, control your assets, and fully benefit from its long-term price growth without relying on others. And I did a review of the Trezor Safe 5 that you can find a link to here and the description of this video if you haven't checked it out yet. After that, the next crucial step is securing your seed phrase. CryptoTag is the leading and best-selling storage device for that. And I recently did a review of the CryptoTag Zeus model, which you can watch by clicking on the link above or the one we've added in the description. And if you're looking to learn more about crypto and the crypto space, I do offer one-to-one coaching to those who are genuinely interested in educating themselves. And there are links in the description of this video where you can contact me and book in a free video call to see if we'd be a good fit. If you're looking for an easier way to track and stay on top of your crypto investments, you can check out CoinStats, which is the leading cryptocurrency portfolio tracker. And you can find the link to their official website in the description of this video. There's also Coinly, which is one of the best automated crypto tax platforms out there. You can sign up for a free account using the link provided in the video description. If you're looking for more personalized support with your crypto taxes, Miner, a part of the Nephos Group, is one of the leading UK crypto tax accountancy firms around that provides expert crypto tax advice, as well as services such as wealth management, restructuring and offshoring. And you'll find a link to contact them directly in the description of this video if you'd like tailored support with your taxes. And for our US viewers, there's a link in the description to contact Crypto Tax Audit, a leading crypto tax company in the United States. So if you need any help with your crypto tax planning, definitely check them out. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.